Hey Stampede Country, Jim Olander here with you inside the Stampede locker room with head coach Ryan Cruthers, and a little sit-down conversation today to get to know Coach a little bit better and talk about the upcoming Stampede season. Coach, I know you're a busy man at this time of year. Appreciate your time with us today.
No, thank you for having me. Excited for the season.
First of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your hockey playing background, and obviously your coaching background too.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to play Division I college hockey at West Point at Army, and then again at Robert Morris University. I transferred after 2 seasons. Then from there, I was able to play 8 years professionally in the minor leagues between the East Coast League and the American Hockey League. And my passion for coaching started to develop, really early in junior hockey. I knew it was something I wanted to do when I was done playing, and got a job in Charlotte coaching Tier 3 junior hockey after I was done playing. And from there, worked my way to numerous leagues, including the USHL, North American League. I went back to my alma mater, Robert Morris, and coached there for a season before COVID, and then landed with the Herd shortly after, and then back here again.
You were, as you mentioned, you're here a couple of years ago. You leave to take a head coaching job in pro hockey, then the Stampede opportunity comes. What was it about Sioux Falls? Why did you want to come back so much?
Well, the organization, first and foremost. My year here was special. It was I had a great time in the community, great time with our fans and front office and you and your staff, and it made a lot of sense. I really liked it, and everyone knows I love the USHL. I love coaching junior hockey. The year of pro hockey with Fayetteville was amazing. Great ownership there, great organization, great fan base. I really enjoyed it. It was a tough but easy decision. It was tough because I had such a great experience in Fayetteville, but it was easy knowing that this was the next opportunity, and I couldn't be more excited to start this year.
And I know when you went there, you told the owner at the time, right? There was only one thing that was going to take you away from Fayetteville, and it was the Sioux Falls Stampede.
Yeah, he knew right away. I told him that, a head coaching job at Sioux Falls would be the only way, because he asked, you've had a lot of jobs, and I've been fortunate. I haven't been fired yet in the game, but I've had a lot of jobs, a lot of moving pieces. So his biggest question was, how long are you here for? And I said the only thing I would leave for was Sioux Falls, and I didn't think it would come that quick, but I'm sure happy that it did, and I'm really excited to get going.
You moved your family up here too. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard. The family dynamic's been tough just because so many different jobs and places, and I have 2 young boys. So the ability to have them here this year and have them involved in the community is something, as you know, spending time on the bus with me a year, just watching them play and not being able to be there. I wouldn't have taken this job if I didn't have an opportunity to bring everyone here and be able to watch them grow up and develop. So I'm super fortunate to have a supporting and loving family that has been with me through some really hard times and frustrating times. And now I get to enjoy what should be a memorable year watching my boys playing and myself being able to do a dream job.
Well, and what I think is cool about your boys too is your whole family and your wife. I mean, they wanted to come here, right? And they're at that age where that's kind of tough. You're moving away from your friends and family members, and there's a community though they definitely want to be a part of.
Yeah, I think when you see this community and they were able to spend a little bit of time here, you could see how welcoming it is. And definitely there's been some stops along the way that are not friendly environments, and you got to make some sacrifices. And a lot of people made a lot of sacrifices for me to be able to do this, and I'm super fortunate for that, and excited to be intertwined with all the youth hockey here, between one boy playing for the Power, one playing for the Flyers. There's so much going on here. Carolina hockey's here, so the whole thing is great, and just really excited to be a part of it.
You mentioned before you love the USHL. So what is it about the league? What is it about this age that you like so much as a coach?
As a coach, my first job was junior hockey, so it's the same age range. I think the thing is that these kids are learning how to be young men, and they're going through so much in their lives outside of hockey. Now at the USHL level, you're dealing with the best athletes, NHL draft picks, guys that are going to big colleges, guys that are going through moving across the world for some of our guys, and some of them across the country. So there's so many dynamics where every day is different, where some jobs, and even in coaching, it could become the same thing day after day. And then junior hockey, when I walk in and there's 26, 27 guys, you have no idea what's going through their head at that time. And to me, that's a fun part of helping them mature and grow up. And then getting on the ice with them is a privilege. To be able to coach athletes of this caliber makes you a better coach, because you have to be ready and prepared for them every single day, and they make you better. So I think this league does a great job of advancing their players and their coaches and perform at the highest standard.
Well, I know you enjoy obviously coaching these guys, and it's not only the hockey development, right? It's growing them into young men, young adults here, and you have a real structure with your program and what you want to do. And one of the things I know you do is make sure they make their beds every day. So explain to us, why do you think that's so important? Maybe to some people it doesn't seem like a big deal, but what is it about that kind of starts their day off?
You know, we watch every team I've coached. We've watched that motivational speech about making your bed, and it's the first task of the day. You get up, the first thing you can do is make your bed, and then when you come home to a bed that you made. And I think the same could be said throughout your day. You know, you make your bed, whether it's the work you put in to be on the power play or penalty kill or whatever it might be. You make your bed, you sleep in it type mentality. But it just shows that you wake up and you do everything you do has a purpose. And I think for us here, we want to make sure that our days are structured and purposeful. And we want to make sure that we're checking tasks off. So that gives us the ability to do that. It shows a little bit of discipline, structure. I think our billets love it. You know, families get back to us and say, "What'd you do with my kid? He came home at Christmas and made his bed." So it's a little thing. It's something that's kind of stuck everywhere, and we enjoy it. And I think our players learn to enjoy it, and it's working so far.
Well, I want to talk about the team in a minute, but obviously you're the head coach, but it takes a big staff to make a team successful. Tell us a little bit about the assistant coaches that you have with you this year, and how important they are to the success of the team.
Yeah, I think you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and I'm very fortunate. A big part of the decision-making was Brandon Wildung, our associate head coach. We worked a year together here, and he made me a better person and a better hockey coach. And he's great with the goaltenders. He's great with the players. He believes in the discipline and structure that we want to have here. So he was an important piece, and knowing that he would come over, you know, it's comforting knowing I can trust my staff. Ryan Black is someone who was here last year that I inherited, and he has been great. He has a lot of energy, really good with player relations, really smart hockey brain too, passionate. So very lucky there. We added Ben Bouget as our video coach. As you know, I'm very big on video, and having that information readily available for our players and for our staff is important. And Ben is a very highly educated, very sophisticated video guy who's done an excellent job so far. We added Trevor Kleckner. Trevor Kleckner is a former player of mine who won a championship as a captain with me at the junior level, and now he's coaching the 16U team here with the Power, and he's someone that really knows what I want from not just on-ice player development, but off-ice and how we do our cultures and things like that drive the organization. So adding him was a bonus, a really added bonus. And then we added Joel Anderson as our equipment manager, who's worked in junior hockey for a long time. You know, equipment managers and trainers are so important to your staff. The players are around them just as much, if not more, than the coaching staff. So you need really good people first, and they have to be really good at their job and organized. And Joel is, and then Jordan Witzel's been here for a long time, excellent at his job. And we're very fortunate to have a really good staff right now, and led by Tony and yourself. And we feel really good about the kind of family we've created here.
Well, and as a coach, it's kind of fun too. I know obviously you're developing players, but this league you're developing coaches too. And for you, I'm sure that's something you enjoy too, is they're learning from you and getting opportunities to grow the team, but also grow themselves as coaches.
Yeah, I think it's an important part of this league. I mean, even for me, 2 years ago, that was the first time I really ran a D-corps. I never had that experience of running the defense. I was always a head coach, so I always just naturally ran the offense. So it was a new challenge and exciting. So I think for us this year, that was part of it. Ryan Black ran the defenseman last year. He's going to work with the forwards this year. Brandon Wildung, who's been predominantly a goalie coach here, he's going to work with the D, and I'm going to oversee the forwards and everything. But just some role identity to make our coaches more recruitable for them and their aspirations and their dreams, so that they'll have more experience when they want to move on to higher levels, or they'll be better, more well-rounded coaches for us here.
All right, as we look at the team, let's talk about your coaching style. And when fans come on October 5th to the home opener, what kind of team are they going to see with the Sioux Falls Stampede?
Well, we're definitely going to be a team that works, and I know every coach says that, but I think the big thing for us is the accountability factor. And for them to be able to step on the ice and wear our logo in a game, they have to be willing to work. So I think fans will see a passionate, hardworking group. We're very much a puck possession style team, not a lot of dump and chase and things like that. We want to be connected with all five guys, and score more goals than the other team. You know, I think people know I would rather win a game 7-6 than 2-0 or 2-1. I'd rather win 7-0 than 7-6, but we're definitely going to be on the offensive side of the way we play and possessing pucks and trying to generate and create more offense. So I think it's an exciting brand. If you're a fan to watch, I think that's what fans come to see, is see goals. And hopefully the more goals we score, the more wins we'll have, and we can make our fans excited about us again.
Well, it's, you know, you go through a season, you always face some sort of adversity and you learn from it. You try to get better. This team, you've already faced adversity. You know, the Shields Iceplex, nobody was counting, or nobody thought it would happen, but you lose your ice. You know, thankfully for Augustana and helping us and getting the Stampede over there to practice, but obviously that changes things. Now you're moving back and forth. I know you kind of have to adjust your practice plan and what you wanted to do. How have you tried to adjust as a coach, and how are you trying to help the players so that it becomes as inconvenient as possible for them?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we're lucky that Augustana, you know, gave us some ice that we can use and the ability to get on every day. So that doesn't change. It is really, it's changed a lot for us. What we had planned and mapped out on paper, from the way that we develop our players after practice with our player development sessions and things like that, a lot's changed in that regard. But we can't really make excuses. The hand we're dealt. The Iceplex is great to us, and it's unfortunate what's going on right now there, but you know, for us, we just have to find ways to have successful days, and that's what we've talked about. Is we're going to have a bad day here and there. There's going to be some hiccups. The traveling back and forth, it's tough, but we could have one bad day, just never two in a row. And we're going to try and limit the amount of bad days we have and string successful ones together. And we're figuring it out right now. It's a feeling out stage. We want to do whatever we can to make it less of an inconvenience for our players. And if that means our staff is packing bags and carrying bags and doing that, we'll do whatever it takes to make the player experience the best that it can be. But we have a great ice sheet to practice on. It's a great facility, and we'll make the most of it. But yeah, it's definitely some adversity early here, way earlier than we thought. But who knows, maybe we'll be better for it, you know, in the end.
Yeah, hopefully we'll look back at it and smile and laugh a little bit and see how it helped the team grow. Looking at the roster and the players, obviously there's a lot of talent on the roster. Just give us a little preview of some guys that have already kind of stuck out to you, and get people, or some players that people should maybe keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I think it's a really exciting group. When you watch the group, there's a lot of talent in the room. We're young, we're definitely young, but with the youth comes a lot of energy and a lot of excitement and a lot of hungry players. So they make it fun every day to come to work, because they are an excited, energetic young group that's really talented. So that part's good. We have some guys with experience. You know, Austin Baker played the U.S. national program for 2 years. Detroit Red Wings pick. He's been really good for us up front. Brock James and Bryce Engels played in Lone Star last year in the North American League, so they have junior experience and they won a championship there. We have some young up-and-comers with Kosick, who is a 2008 young, very talented player. We just added a couple of pieces in Miro Satan and Philip Norberg, who are both huge 6'7" NHL draft picks. Traded for Aiden Wright in net. We have two other goaltenders in Manzella, right? And then Carl Axelson, who's going to be an NHL draft pick. So there's a lot. I mean, I could go around the whole room, and that's what's great about the USHL. There's so many guys, you know, McNillis comes back and Grimes comes back, and there's so many pieces. Like I said, I don't want to leave any guys out and make them not feel as important, but, you know, and Ethan Wittenbach, who we traded for, has been excellent throughout camp, scored a bunch of points in the preseason. So there's a lot of different pieces there. One guy that's really stood out for us has been Javon Moore. You know, Javon's been a part of the Stampede family for a little bit, played a little bit of hockey with us. But he's come in as a Senators draft pick, and he's been unbelievable. He's been really fun to work with, and you see the talent, and you see why there's so much hype around him. So many pieces. Like I said, I feel bad for anyone I left out, but we're excited about our group.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of good players and exciting. And you know, you look at the season. Obviously, it's long, and we always say it's not how you start; it's how you finish. How do you evaluate the team as it goes on? Are you looking at? I know some coaches break them up into 10-game segments or have specific goals throughout the year. Do you do that type of thing, or how will you evaluate on how the team is getting better, or maybe needs to continue to work on things?
Yeah, it's a performance-based industry. For us, the scoreboard tells us everything. There is highs and lows in the USHL, and especially with youth, there's some times where you get some lulls and you got to teach them how to get out of it quicker. But I think we do have a good mix of veteran guys who have been through some things in their career that can help us. And hopefully those negative segments are shorter than longer. But, for us, we want to get off to a good start, just like everyone else does, and we want to try and maintain it. I think it's always easier to get out to good starts and start to create some separation than it is to chase. You don't want to be in the chase for the whole second half of the year and looking at different things. I think that's when you tend to, as coaches, start to try and build segments and say, well, we got to win 7 out of the next 10. I want to be at a place where we just want to keep getting better and better each week. We want to string as many sweep weekends together as we can. We've talked about that. This league, there's so much parity where sometimes you're happy with a split because you're on the road or whatever. For us, we want to start celebrating sweeps and how many times we could string 2-game, weekends together with wins. So we haven't really discussed the segment piece yet, other than we want to get out and get ahead of our competition and not be looking at it trying to chase things all year.
When it comes to practices, just observing already, I know you like to be on the ice, you like to be involved. I know every coach is different. I bring it up because some coaches aren't as involved. They do coaching from in their office or whatever, but I know you like to be on the ice and with the guys. Why to you is that so important?
Well, it's a lot of fun for me. I mean, I still miss playing too. I think the guys see that sometimes, so I like to be out there and jump into it, but I believe that the accountability piece is important. So if we're asking our players to do something, we have to lead from the front and be out there. And I think one of the things that I'm trying to work on as a coach is giving more responsibility to my assistants, and surrounding yourself with people you trust is an important piece of that. So I think that part's been good for me. I've been able to be a little less of a voice and more get in there and coach. So this environment helps that. But I just want to see and feel everything and be around our guys. It's an exciting group, and I love working with them. I love being able to recognize where we're deficient and where we can be better, and then have a plan to get after it. So I think you got to be on the ice and feel it in order to do that. So again, I don't feel like I've ever worked a day in my life because it's so much fun. Being on the ice is the best part of it. So I don't ever want to give that up. And we talk about our player development pods. D are on one rink, forwards are on the other, and guys are already giving me a hard time because I'm running from one to the other with my skates on, but it's a lot of fun being on the ice with the guys.
I would imagine too, though, that has to help your player development, right, and your relationship, because as a coach, you're a mentor, you're a dad basically to them. It's important for them to see their coach and be part of all the drills and be part of practice.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for them to be able to bounce something off of you right away, or for you to, when they ask you a question, for you to be able to answer it in real time because you're there. Sometimes, you get to a point in the season where you kind of remove yourself a little bit sometimes because you feel like your voice is being heard too much. I think you could still be there and be in the moment, but it's good to be able to give them real-time feedback. So when they come in your office for a meeting about something, you're not trying to figure out what they're talking about. You were there in the moment. So it's important for me to be in and around it as much as I can be.
All right, and finally, home opener is just around the corner. Obviously, I know that's time players get excited. What is Coach Cruthers most excited for come home opener night?
Well, I think it's to get back in the Denny, right? I mean, the rink is amazing. I think that's what attracts a lot of people, and it's attractive for coaches too. I mean, there's a reason why I wanted to be here and be with this organization, and I think playing in front of our fans in that arena is a big part of it. I think the other part of it too is something we've talked about is just restoring pride in our logo. I remember, not only as a player, but as a coach, I've coached in the league before for other organizations. I've been in and around it. That Stampede logo was intimidating. There was a lot of tradition of success and a history of winning and tough teams, and they weren't easy nights when you played the Stampede, and that logo was something that people feared, and we kind of want to instill that again in our competition and create some rivalries again. I think rivalries are really only created when teams beat each other back and forth. When it's lopsided one way or another, I don't know if it's much of a rivalry. So what we've talked about is creating rivalries again. We want to start creating a message and a vibe that it's not an easy night when you play the Stampede, and we want to restore pride in our logo.
Coach, appreciate the time. We're excited to have you here. We're excited for the season, but thank you and best of luck as the season gets going here.
Thank you very much.
All right, fans, don't forget, October 5th, home opener, Stampede at the Premier Center at 6:05 p.m. First 1,000 kids, 14 and under, get a free Stampede replica jersey. All kinds of fun in the concourse, tailgate party, and more. So make sure you stay tuned to sfstampede.com and follow us on social media to get all the latest Stampede information. Thanks for joining us.